Hi everyone, Miss Gingerberry. I wanted to talk today a little bit about patron and matron gods and goddesses, um, and just tell you a little bit about mine and my experience with her. And I would like to hear other people's responses to their experiences with their gods or goddesses and how they feel personally connected to them, or why they think they're in their lives, or why they call upon them, or what they help with, or just any experience that you have with a particular god or goddess. I think is really interesting, and um, I think it'll kind of help me figure out my relationship a little bit better. Um, my goddess, the goddess that I feel the strongest that she has called to me is Arianrhod. And when I was about, I don't even know how old, maybe 15, I want to say. Um, this was before I got into paganism and before I knew anything about this path that I'm now on. I had this tendency to just sort of lay on my bed in my bedroom and just kind of listen to music and kind of zone out, as I'm sure a lot of teenagers do. I wasn't smoking anything. I wasn't on drugs. I've never done drugs in my life. But I I don't know if I was like meditating or what, because I had no concept of what I was doing. I was just zoning out. And so I got this really clear picture in my head of a woman, and she was wearing a purple cloak. It was covering her face. I couldn't see her face. It was a purple cloak, and it just sort of flowed behind her. And as she was walking, she was leaving this trail of stars at her feet. She was barefoot, and she was leaving this sort of trail of stars. Everywhere she stepped, it was just a path of stars. And I sort of saw these stars, and they were sort of in the background, there was a castle. I don't really remember much about the castle or what it looked like, but I had a strong sense that there was a castle there. And so she's walking and leaving these stars as she's going along, and she has a net over her shoulder. And this image just stuck just so strongly in my mind. And I was very artistic at that age. And so I drew this image on my bedroom wall. I asked my parents, they said it was okay. So I drew this image on my bedroom wall. I never painted it, but I just sort of sketched it out. And I just, I couldn't figure out why I had seen this, why it was so vivid. I had never had anything such a vivid image in my mind before. And it just sort of stuck with me. And throughout the years, I sort of started referring to her as my muse. And I thought that might be who she was. She kind of kept, I don't say she reappeared to me a lot, but it was just sort of this ever present feeling of drawing me back to that image, you know. And so I continued to just sort of call her my muse. I didn't really know what she was. I was writing poetry a lot and painting a lot at that time. And then, um, and just sort of over the years, I kind of stopped doing that stuff, and she kind of got pushed to the back of my mind, I guess. And then when I came across my path and I started researching and I started finding out more about all of these goddesses, um, I did read To Ride a Silver Broomstick by Silver Raven Wolf. But I want to read to you. Okay, she has this list of goddesses in this book, and I was reading through them, and this name just popped out at me. And there's nothing in this description, I don't think, that really would indicate that this was her. But I just knew in my heart. I cannot explain it. I saw the name, and it just clicked in my head that that's who I saw, you know? But let me read it to you. Okay, Arianrhod, Welsh, goddess of the stars and reincarnation. Call on Arianrhod to help with past life memories and difficulties, as well as for contacting the star people. Okay, besides the word star, in that description, there's nothing in there that indicates that this is who I was seeing or what I was feeling. Just that word star. I mean, I can't even tell you. Like, look, I even have this tattoo, right? This star tattoo here on my elbow. I got this before I started on that path. It's just something that's always stuck with me, is that imagery and that symbology of the star, right? So I don't I don't know why when I was reading this list it just jumped out at me as this is the woman that I saw and this is the image. So I started to try to look more into her. I kind of read her background and her myth online. There's still a lot of vagueness surrounding her myth, to me anyway. Um, but it, I just I just knew for a fact that this was her, and she keeps showing herself to me in different ways. And one way is, well, let me read you. Okay, this one is from Celtic Myth and Magic. She is sometimes depicted as a weaver, which links her to lost creation myths and to magical practice, sometimes called weaving a spell. So this aspect of the weaver that I found, that she has this aspect of the weaver, and I connected that with spiders because spiders weave their web, right? So I connected that. Now I connect spiders with Arianrhod. So now I've noticed that I see a lot of spiders around outside my apartment. Okay, you can just say, okay, maybe I just live in a spider heavy area. Okay, I see them outside my apartment. I see them at the bus stop, going to work, coming from work. I see them in my classroom. I see them all over the place. It's like they're following me around or something. And they're not like poisonous spiders or anything. They're just like the little, jumping spiders. And when I noticed that all of these spiders were around me, and it was kind of creeping me out, and then I started looking into, well, what do spiders symbolize and why might spiders be coming into my life? And then I realized Arianrhod is a weaver, and she's a spider. Well, she has that spider correspondence for me. So these spiders were her way. And this was a time in my life when I was very stressed by my work and I felt like my work was taking over my life and I wasn't having enough time to create and to do the things that I wanted to do. She was telling me to go and create and express myself. And, you know, it, that's sort of the message that I was getting. And it's, you know, when I heard all of these stories before, I just kind of brushed them off and say, oh, well, that's great. They had that experience. But I never thought that I would have that experience. And I'm so grateful for it. And she showed herself in every single time that I have this need to connect to her. It's because I'm not being true to myself. I'm not being, expressing myself enough, which I have a problem with. Um, but also, she came to me at a time, and I realized all of these clues from her at a time when in my life felt like I was being pushed in one direction. Um, Towards the end of earning my master's degree in English, I felt like she was pushing me more. And I think that she was trying to tell me this might not be what you really, really, really want to do. And now I have to step back and take a look and say, is this really, really what I want to do? Or do I want to do something else? Or do I want to do something in addition to this? And so I think she was she's constantly just on me. She's on my ass, just pushing me to, take heed and be myself and to figure out what I want instead of just saying, oh, well, that sounds cool. I'm very go with the flow. And so if someone tells me I'm good at something, okay, I'll pursue that. But it might not be my passion, you know? And she was just sort of trying to get me to stop and take a look and push me to do what I really want to do, to look inward. So she's really had a big influence on my life, and she continues to, and continues to challenge me in all of those ways. So she's a very challenging goddess for me to work with. And even to this day, I've tried over and over again to ask her for my magic name, and I have an idea of what it is, but I haven't gotten any confirmation. and, and I feel like she's just kind of holding out and saying, "Wait, you got to do more work. I'm going to make you work for it." And I feel like that's really what she's doing. She's saying, "Hold on, you really have to figure out who you are, and then you can use this name." You know. So, yeah, just crazy relationship with her that I find that I have. I don't really have that kind of relationship with any other deity, male or female, god or goddess. But I know that Arianrhod is just pushing me. She's just like constantly in my life and in my business. Um, yeah. So if anyone else has any experience with her, I'd love to hear it. Um, it's not like an antagonistic feeling or nature that I'm getting from her. It's that love where she just sort of wants you to do more. She wants you to be the best you can be. And so she's making sure that you're going to be real to who you are. Uh, that has been my experience with her. It is generally a peaceful, loving feeling when I see her, but she definitely challenges me. Let's just put it that way. Um, so if anybody else has any experiences with her or with any other deity that you have experience with, either your matron or patron, or just someone that you feel connected to, a deity that you feel connected to, or maybe even like any other kind of energies, like do you feel um, particularly aligned with one of the elements or with fairies or, you know, any other kind of energies? I want to hear more about those experiences because um, it's definitely been a challenging experience. So I'd like to hear everyone else's input. All right, I look forward to hearing from everyone. Thanks.